Good Wednesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Brewer, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open here and let's wake up the football gods here. Hope everybody's doing good on this hump day, and I am as excited as can be because come this weekend, at least, as bad as this offseason has been, we end up having the CSA show in Chantilly, Virginia. Joe Boo Sports will be there, hoping to meet a bunch of you guys. We're going to end up having Dak Prescott's going to be there, Zeke Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper, Randy White, Drew Pearson, as well as players from other teams as well. You know, I always look forward to April having this event because it's always been big. The last year, of course, the last 2 years because of COVID, it's been a lot different than others, but it was actually back last year, and we had a great time with Drew Pearson and stuff, and now we're getting some of our current players. And come Saturday, we've been doing a fundraiser for Stand Up for Cancer. Dak has been doing a bunch of different events and things for Stand Up in Cancer, and we have raised over $3,000 because of you guys, and we're going to be presenting his charity a check on Saturday as well as a plaque. So shout out to all you great people. If you still want to be part of it, and we're engraving everybody who did a donation into the piece that we're giving Dak, as well as those who end up doing a donation, we're going to do a drawing for some stuff for you guys, as well as including one of the plaques that we're giving Dak autographed by him. So if you go to the community tab, there is a post in there with the link for it, and I appreciate all of those. If you're going to do it by Friday, say 12 o'clock, because after that, I'm going to end up doing all of the engraving the back of the pieces. Anyway, as bad as this offseason has been, I actually have something that's really good to think about right now. We're doing something right now that we couldn't do last year. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I want you to think back to last offseason, and as bad as it's been with the free agency of losing Randy Gregory, of losing Amari Cooper, losing Lyle Collins, as well as some of our other players and things, as bad as that's been, we might actually have to say that we've had a better offseason than we did last year. Seriously. Last year, Dan Quinn was just coming in. We had no idea what Dan Quinn was going to do. We had what was the worst in Mike Nolan. We ended up looking and saying, we've got no players here. When you looked at that last year, and as they started bringing in the free agents that we brought in, you didn't look and say that this defense was going to do anything. You thought it was going to be a repeat show of what we had. Some people looked at Dan Quinn and said, how are we bringing in a coach who literally had the worst defense in football, who could not hold a lead with the Atlanta Falcons? Now we have Dan Quinn here for a second year. He's actually able to bring back some of the integral parts from last year. And if he can end up bringing in a few more pieces that had the same kind of impact, this defense could actually be really good. But that's not what I'm actually talking about. What I'm actually talking about is from the standpoint of where we were this time last year. This time last year, we found out that Dak Prescott had had a second surgery in January. That Dak literally, we weren't sure when he was going to be able to work out and was unable to do any passing. Could not through OTAs. So that time of getting together, working out, and throwing to his receivers, working on timing and things like that, OTAs now, there's so much less working out actually on the field. The CBAs keep changing and changing and changing and taking less and less and less working out. It's no longer two-a-days. It's not 6 weeks and 4 preseason games like it used to be, where you could get yourself into shape and learn everything. You have a very limited window. And right now, the Cowboys have the captain's workouts. 30 players, they're already working out together. Dak is throwing twice a week. He's ramping up as opposed to unable to throw because of the leg, where all of a sudden he finally got the clearing to throw, and he's trying to make up for lost time, which led to, of course, not being able to throw in training camp of straining the shoulder. So from that standpoint, you look at it and say, Dak should be further along, having had the surgery on the other shoulder, which we hear is fine, and now able to start throwing and working with the receivers, working on timing, working on guys so that way they know which direction to go. Being able to get this time even at, not just with the team, but even at his house. That is a major improvement for the Cowboys. And this is one of those advantages that the Cowboys are actually fortunate, because most of the Cowboy players, they live in Dallas, in that area, as opposed to some teams that, when you're in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers doesn't live in Green Bay all year round. He's got to come back for OTAs and stuff. It's not like Aaron Rodgers just say, hey, come on over to the house, guys. We're going to throw the football around, like Dak Prescott can. On top of that, I want you to understand another thing, a little advantage that the Cowboys have that they didn't have last year. And that is that DeMarcus Lawrence, too, is part of the captain's workouts. DeMarcus Lawrence last year had back surgery and ended up being on the PUP list to start training camp. So for the first time in a long time, DeMarcus Lawrence actually is in really good shape going into an off season where hopefully he'll be able to be a better player than he was this year. Yes, we lost Randy Gregory, but if we get a stronger DeMarcus Lawrence and he doesn't miss as much time as he did this past year with the broken foot, you could kind of make up for some of that loss of Randy Gregory. Dorrance Armstrong is still a decent guy. Dante Fowler, I think maybe, hey, you never know. He could end up being this year's Jaron Curse. And you definitely get a hint from Jerry Jones that they may be looking for an edge rusher. For me personally, I still believe the best thing you could do is, instead of the edge rusher, is go offensive line and then look at the one technique. Because here's the thing. We need a true great offensive lineman again. We've not added a great offensive lineman in forever. You need to focus on getting that. The thing about edge rushers is there'll be a run on edge rushers. I know it's a deep draft when it comes to defensive linemen and edge rushers and things. But by the time you get to the second round, the top 5, 6, 7, 8 edge rushers will be gone. But you know what position that they don't really look at as hard and as heavy, which they usually say that can wait, are interior defensive linemen. So by the time you come around to the second round, instead of looking at maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th best edge rusher, you might be looking at the second or the third or the fourth best interior defensive lineman. And see, if you can get that push in the middle, you get the DeMarcus Lawrence on the outside who's healthy. You get even a Dorrance Armstrong that you can rotate with Dante Fowler and a Micah Parsons who can be the everywhere man. That defense is better. Now, are you better suited having the 10th best prospect who is going to end up being a rotational guy? Or are you better getting the third or fourth who can start right now and be in there to wreak havoc? My bet is interior defensive lineman would be the way I would go. But then I'm just a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. So I am not believing that we're actually here again, that we are actually here with the Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. And you can see that Colin Cowherd, I don't know if Colin Cowherd is like Carson Wentz's family member or potential, future son-in-law or what, or if he's got, something on Colin Cowherd. But Colin Cowherd, for whatever reason, has always been all in on Carson Wentz. He's always jaded things about Carson Wentz. I don't know what it is. it's crazy because, like, early on in the things, he would go through and when he compared Dak and Wentz, he would go through and say, oh, I always throw out the rookie season. Why do you throw out the rookie season? Why do you got to throw it out? All quarterbacks that start had a rookie season that they started. It's part of their career, their legacy. He threw it out because Dak had a great rookie season. Carson Wentz didn't. So here we go with Colin Cowherd's yesterday, and he's setting us up for a whole season of believing in Carson Wentz, a guy who right now is so bad that the Eagles said, you know what, we'll take a $35 million cap hit just to get rid of you, and we'll take a first and a second. He goes to the Colts, where the Colts give up a first and a second for him and end up getting $15 million in dead money, basically to get a third-round draft pick for him. And he goes to Washington, the second Bermuda Triangle when it comes to quarterbacks, and tests fate on whether or not he will leave the place upright. But all that doesn't seem to matter to Colin Cowherd. Let's go to yesterday's take on this because I almost find it hilarious. A coin flip? A coin flip? How is it? Okay, all right. Let me take my emotions out of this. But a coin flip? So this is a shout out to Pro Football Focus, because at Pro Football Focus, you can compare apples to apples, player for player in their stats for a year or for their career. Let's just look at last year. Just last year. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, he was 11-5. Carson Wentz was 9-8. Dak Prescott, 410 completions to 322. Completion percentage, because the Cowboys did throw more than the Colts. 68.8, 62.4. Yardage, Dak Prescott, 4,449 yards to 3,563. Touchdowns, Dak Prescott, 37. Carson Wentz, 27. Rating, Dak Prescott, 104. Carson Wentz, 94. Interceptions, Dak has 10, Wentz has 7. Yard average, 7.5 yards to 6.9. So I'm trying to understand. Yeah, now maybe I will actually I'll give Carson Wentz, a little bit of a pass, because he was leaving Philadelphia and going to the Colts. Even though he'd worked with Frank right before, he was still in a new situation and so on. But let's go through the careers here, because it's amazing because they've actually played the exact number of games, both of them. Dak, 53 wins. Carson Wentz, 44. Dak, 1,924 completions to 1,884. Completion percentage, Dak, 66.6. Wentz, 62.2. Dak, with over 2,000 more yards passing. Dak, with 3 more touchdown passes. Dak, with almost 9 higher points rating. Rushing touchdowns, Dak Prescott, 25-9. Interceptions, Carson Wentz, 57, Dak, 50. You can go down the line. It's not a coin flip, it's Dak. I mean, I know, believe me, I know I am a Dak Prescott fan. I'm a Dak Prescott Dallas Cowboys homer. But I don't know how you can actually make the argument that it's a coin toss and that the Washington football team has the best quarterback in the division. Sorry. That's just not, doesn't hold water. It doesn't hold water. There's just no way, no how that you can make that argument. And let's put out here Dak Prescott for last year, coming back from a catastrophic potential career-ending injury with a hurt shoulder and couldn't work out in training camp because of his other shoulder being hurt and a calf strain. Yeah, that's where I say the advantage for the Cowboys this year is Dak is healthy right now and beginning to work out. And with that being said, you know I got work to do. I got to get everything ready for this weekend. I appreciate y'all being here, and we'll bring you all the news that is the Dallas Cowboys. Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Sports Report.